With the new single account servers opening up on Wakfu, a lot of people have decided to try it out or to come back after many years. If you're one of these people, then there are a few things you might want to know before starting. So here are 6 tips for beginners and returning players, and maybe a bonus 7th one that might actually be the most important thing to keep in mind while playing, but only if you behave. Tip number 1. Let's start with a tip that doesn't have a lot to do with gameplay but more with quality of life. It's a well-known opinion and one shared by a majority of the community that the Wakfu interface is, kind of eh. I personally don't mind it too much, but it for sure could be better. Well, being a new player, you have the immense luck of arriving at a time where this problem has been fixed, as Captcha has implemented support for personalized themes. Nowadays, it's really easy to change the look of your Wakfu game to something you actually like. Go on the forum, search a theme you vibe with, and download its zip file. Then, open your game, go in Settings, click on the Interface tab, and select Open the folder. Unzip the files and put the unzipped content in the folder you just opened, and boom! Your game has a new look. My personal favorite is the Stasis theme by Kaido because I'm a sucker for purple colors, but you can find a ton of other themes like Dark and Minimalist, or the Shushu theme in the official Wakfu forums. Tip number 2. This one is massively important. If you don't do this, you're generally giving yourself a hard time, but you'll also be giving the other players a hard time. When you'll start your game, you'll notice that on the top right of your screen, there will be a square NPC icon with a frame that can change color. This icon represents the clan member NPC who rules over the territory you're in. If their frame is green, they're happy with how everything is. The happier they are, the better, as you will get significant XP and dropping boosts. If the frame is red, however, they are unhappy with the state of the map and will let you know by giving an XP and drop penalty in their territory to everyone. But how do you get that green frame? Well, every clan member has wishes, which you can see by clicking on their icon. You'll be greeted by a window showing you the amount of trees and crops in the area, as well as the amount of monsters from each family. You'll also see a bracket of numbers for each of these. The goal of the players is to make sure to fulfill all the clan members' wishes by keeping the population of the previously mentioned elements in between those brackets. So, if you don't want to lose on a good amount of resources and XP, don't forget to replant when the number's too low, and to kill without replanting when it's too high. Tip number 3. This one is aimed at the people who are interested in the crafting and gathering side of Wakfu. When you'll start leveling up your gathering jobs, such as farmer or miner, you may come across a strange little creature called the Captcha. This mischievous cat will start a fight with you and is here to prevent budding, but it will also net you some really nice rewards. To clear this fight, you must cast a spell on the tiles that have the same numbers as the one the Captcha is displaying on their side. When you're done with the fight, you'll get 40 times the resource you were currently collecting. So this little dude is your best friend for quickly collecting resources. He'll appear approximately 1 time out of 10 if you stay in the same area for gathering. However, do note that the Captcha will not appear for rare resources. You can distinguish rare resources from their normal variant by their sparkling. They're like a shiny Pokemon, although maybe not as hard to find. Some recipes do require a lot of them, and unfortunately the Captcha won't be able to help you with those. Tip number 4. Don't be a hoarder. I know it's really hard. I too suffer from chronic MMO hoarder syndrome. However, in Wakfu, you don't have to be shy with eating equipment, especially since, unlike games like 14, the cosmetic aspect of these equipment is basically non-existent. You will probably get your cosmetic fix with costumes instead. If there's equipment you're not using, and if it's only selling for a few kamas, you should definitely recycle them instead. To do so, click on the little hammer icon at the top right of your inventory. This will let you shatter both equipments and items. Shattering equipment will get you shards that will later be useful for enchanting your higher level equipment and optimizing yourself. And if you're not into optimizing that much, you'll usually get more kamas by selling shards anyway. So break that low level equipment that's been sitting in your bag for 2 months, okay? You can also shatter items that you aren't using, which will give you powder that can be used in equipment recipes. When you shatter an equipment, you might be wondering what their 0.21 shards mean, for example. This means that you have 21% chances of getting a shard from that equipment by shattering it. But let's say you shatter 6 equipments with a 21% chance at the same time, then you'll always get at least 1 shard and will have a 6% chance of getting an additional one. Unidentified equipment, aka equipment which you haven't double-click on to see the enchantments you can get on them, will also have a higher probability to give you shards. So keep that in mind when you drop an equipment you know you're not going to use. Yeah, I know, it's math, but don't worry too much about it, just break the stuff you don't need. Tip number 5. Picking your nation. Once you reach level 15, you'll be tasked to pick between 4 nations. Bunta, Brakmor, Amakna, and Sofokia. Now, you want to pick Brakmor. This is absolutely necessary. What do you mean I'm biased? More seriously, just pick the nation you think looks the coolest. Or if you're in a guild, just pick the one that your guild picked. And don't be too worried about it. Nowadays, the nations aren't that important, to be honest. You can also always change it later on with a quest, so it's really up to you. Tip number 6. Don't forget to do your dailies and weeklies. Every day you can get quests from the Hunters Guild's NPC. They'll ask you to provide a certain amount of monster resources or tell you to go complete some specific dungeons. In exchange, you'll get a nice amount of XP as well as some tokens. The first hunter giving you the quest aimed at the player situated between level 6 and 35 is situated in Astrup's Field. You'll also be asked to go pray in the Almanac's temple once a day to honor the protectors of the day, the Meridia. Each time you do so, you'll be rewarded with 1 Almanac's token, which you can trade against other rewards in the Almanac's token machine situated inside the temple, including titles and costumes, but also mounts and equipments. Do note that this machine lets you get the teleport of scriptures for 0 tokens, an item which lets you teleport back in front of the temple for free. The item isn't consumed upon being used and can be activated whenever you want, as long as you're not in combat. So don't forget to grab it on your way there. It is incredibly useful to teleport quickly to a zap so you can teleport somewhere else, instead of, having to walk all the way back to a Drago Turkey or another zap. So don't forget to take the time to do all of these each day. And you may even end up getting a really cool mount if you do enough of the Almanac's dailies. With all these tips, you should be able to start your adventure and learn more on your own. However, there is one tip I've kept from you all this time. A bonus tip for the people who took the time to watch everything, or clicked on the end of the video to get to the tip. Here it comes! Are you ready? Just take your time! You might think that you need to rush to get to the end game and to get cool stuff and to not miss out on the economy or whatever, but I think that in Wakfu, one of the best part of the game is the journey to your objectives. Take pleasure in the game, take the time to appreciate the lore, the quests, and don't feel bad if you can't master everything at first. You have time. This goes for your class as well. Take the time to get familiar with it without rushing, as you can change your class at any time from Re-Island until you're level 30. I hope these tips will help you if you're a beginner, and I hope you'll enjoy Wakfu and play with us. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to ask in the comments and we'll try our best to reply. If this video was of any help to you, consider leaving a like and or subscribing, as it helps out the channel a ton. Are you on the fence about Wakfu? Unsure if you should give it a try? Then you can check out this video.